Our nation in recent times have suffered tragedy after tragedy with one thing in common. That thing in common that has been in the media everywhere and is a much talked about topic is gun control. Now, before I give you my opinion on gun control, I ask that you stay open-minded and see both sides of the argument. Guns were never a major recurring problem until about 20 years ago. One of the first nationally televised school shootings was right down the road from us, and that was Heath High School. In the shooting, 3 students lost their lives, and many more were hurt physically, mentally, and emotionally from the traumatic events that happened that day. The Second Amendment was ratified in 1791. That means we have gone approximately 200 years without any gun control violence and any topic explaining gun control at all. But I think the amendments were made to be changed, but this one, the Second Amendment, should not be. I agree with debate.org when a user said if guns were banned, people would find other ways to be evil. For instance, if a robber was to rob a bank with a gun, instead of that, if guns were banned, he would use an illegally owned gun, a knife, or anything else that could potentially help him in his mission. Murderers, if they didn't use guns, they could use knives again, gas, poisons, anything. It's endless. People are always going to find a way to be evil. It's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. That's like saying that forks make people fat. That's ridiculous. Duke.edu says one half of people with mental health disorders go undiagnosed. That means out of your school, half the people with a mental health disorder do not even know about it. Procon.org says gun control doesn't deter crime, gun ownership does. I totally agree with this statement. It's not gun control laws that are going to help, it's gun ownership laws. Obtaining a gun should be way harder than taking guns away. I was taught in school in the 4th grade by a resource officer from Kentucky Fish and Wildlife on gun safety every month. He came into our class and explained to our whole class about gun safety. And by the end of that, we all had a pretty good grasp on how to use guns safely. Since then, I haven't heard of any of my classmates accidentally or purposely shooting another human. And here in Western Kentucky, guns are a pretty popular thing. People use them for hunting and just recreational use in general. Me and my family have owned guns my whole life for as long as I can remember. They've been something that I've been around my whole life, and I've never once had the desire to shoot another human being. The thing is about guns, people are always going to be evil, and they're going to use the guns. It's not the guns that are doing the damage, it's the people. We have an untalked about subject that we just refuse to talk about, and we put it to the side, and that's mental illness. Like I said earlier, half of those people with mental illnesses don't even know that they have it. So instead of making gun laws stricter, why don't we make it harder to obtain a gun by enforcing a mental illness test before someone can buy a gun? We have these rules that where you can buy a gun at a certain age and you just have to pass a pretty in-depth background check. Why don't we make the background check way harder and make all gun owners who wish to obtain a gun, why don't we make them take a class on gun safety before they actually own a gun? We need to teach humans the value of human life instead of letting them find out by doing the things that are happening in this world today. We pick and choose what we want to put in the media about gun control. It takes kids dying in schools for us to talk about it rather than the kids who die every day from drugs, abuse, and other things such as that. When guns are often factors in those things, but it all comes down to people being evil. We disregard all of these things and only talk about gun control when it happens in a school. The problem is not guns, it's getting guns. Guns should be way harder to obtain, but they should not be taken away. Gun ownership is not a right, it's a privilege. It is a right, I agree with the Second Amendment for sure, but everyone who owns a gun should know that it is a privilege to own that gun. And those who do not recognize that, I believe, should not own that gun in the first place, which goes back to me saying that guns should be way harder to obtain than than they are right now. Now, the day I turn 18 or 21, I can go out and get that gun, and without much to do with it, it's just a background check. But I believe that guns should be way harder to obtain, and this could solve the problem with gun control. Thank you.